Every single person races for this reason, to stand on the top of the podium and be bathed in champagne at the end of a racing Sunday in Formula 1. Some select few do it quite often, others have to wait a long time between race victories, and some haven't even been there at all. Here at GPFans, these are the last times that constructors currently on the grid in F1 took the top step of the podium. Sorry Haas, but it's not happened yet. The American constructor hasn't registered a win since joining the Formula 1 grid in 2016. Their best result came back in 2018 when then driver Romain Grosjean finished 4th at the Austrian Grand Prix. The podium is still calling their name. A nice and easy one for you. Red Bull's last win came in the final race of last season in Abu Dhabi. I mean, Max Verstappen had 15 of them in 2022, so this was always going to be the most recent one, wasn't it? Even when the modern world moves on so quickly, it's hard to forget when Red Bull were last atop the podium. The Silver Arrows only had one win last year in 2022, but it came late in the season with the improvements and season-long upgrades helping to propel George Russell to the top of the podium in the penultimate race of last year in Brazil. It's just surprising, perhaps, that it was Russell and not Lewis Hamilton taking their only win of last season. While Carlos Sainz's Scuderia was pulling to the side of the road all ablaze and then almost rolling back into it as well, his teammate Charles Leclerc was giving the most iconic name in motorsport its last F1 win to date. In a season where Ferrari were meant to push Red Bull all the way, early July seems a long time ago to have logged your last race victory. Leclerc would probably agree with this as well. Formerly Renault, Alpine want to eventually get competing with the big three in Formula 1 as soon as possible, but while they wait to be consistently up at the front of the grid, they'll have to continue to dine out on Hungary 2021, when Esteban Ocon was able to hold off Lewis Hamilton with a fair bit of help from his teammate Fernando Alonso and take the constructors' first win under the Alpine banner. Gone but not forgotten, Danny Ricciardo holds McLaren's last win to date. While his 2-year stint with the British constructor was filled with trials and tribulations, Monza in September 2021 was at least a shining moment when the Australian led home a 1-2 finish for the team. So much was expected for McLaren after that, but it hasn't yet come to fruition. Yet to win in the green of Aston Martin, the Sakir Grand Prix in 2020 is the last time the team won a Formula 1 Grand Prix. It came under the pink banner of Racing Point thanks to an incredible drive from Sergio Perez. A win that probably earned Checo his drive with Red Bull the following year and the success he's had with the team since then. A wild ride at Monza in 2020 was the last time we saw Red Bull's sister team on the top step of the podium. In fact, the team has only had 2 race victories in its history, with both coming at the iconic Italian circuit. The first was the breakout win for Sebastian Vettel in 2008 as Toro Rosso, and 12 years later Pierre Gasly found himself cheered on by the normally Ferrari faithful crowd to take the team's most recent Formula 1 victory. Once the top dogs in the sport, Williams have fallen on hard times to say the least in the last decade. It's been over 10 years since their last win in F1, with May 2012 at the Spanish Grand Prix the last time they took the checkered flag in first. Pastor Maldonado ended a 8-year drought for the team on that day, with their last win before that coming in 2004. On reflection, 8 years probably doesn't seem too bad to them when you take everything into consideration and where they are right now in the sport. Okay, so this is a long one. Alfa Romeo hasn't seen the top step of the podium since the Spanish Grand Prix in 1951. The iconic Juan Manuel Fangio taking the victory on that day, but the current team Alfa Romeo Sauber has technically seen the top step since then, back in 2008. Then Sauber were operating under their own badge, with Robert Kubica taking advantage of some pit lane pandemonium in Canada for the team's last race win. So which of these droughts is going to end the quickest? Obviously, Red Bull, Mercedes and Ferrari will be expected to find victories next season, but will anybody else be joining them on the top step of the podium? Let us know in the comments section below.